guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another video. So today's video we're going to be talking about angelfish. Right, so yes guys, we're back with another video, and if you've noticed, I've started a little series called Fishy Talk, and basically what I'm doing, I'm taking one fish species and I'm just going to talk a bit about them just in one video, you know, not too much edited, just sit down, relax, you know, and I'm just going to talk a bit about a certain fish. And in this video we're going to do angelfish, because in the last video we talked about my endlers, and yeah, I thought it was time for the angelfish, because angelfish is a big part of my fish keeping hobby. Right, so yeah, where do we start? So I mean, angelfish are beautiful fish, of course. So I've got a couple of here. There's about 13 here, but then here I've also got a pair with babies, as you can see there at the back. So yeah, those are the babies, and I've bred tons of angelfish. Like, yeah, you won't believe how many I've bred. I mean, look, I've got all these babies down here, and yeah, they're pretty easy to breed once you get them breeding, basically. But yeah, I love angelfish, and they're so pretty easy to breed, so I love keeping them. Anyway, so for size, they get around, well, I would say, well, this is my hand, that's them, but the camera won't really do it justice, really. But I would say about 15 centimeters, between the 15 and 20 centimeters fully grown. That's what I would say what they get at, especially if they've had good food all their life, and also they have a big enough tank. Anyway, so further I'm just going to go over the care requirements basically. So you want a big enough tank, so I would say, so these are 125 litre tanks, but these are basically only for breeding or growing out or whatever. But I would say if you would keep these just for the hobby basically, I would at least do about 180 litres, which is around 50 gallons I think, US gallons that is. So yeah, just get about something like that, that'll be good. And then you want to get like maybe a group of 6 to 8 angelfish I would get, and I would get juveniles if I was you, maybe like around this size, because they're a lot smaller and cheaper, so that's all good to save a bit of money, because if you want to buy some full grown angelfish, that might cost you a lot more. And also the benefit of buying them small is you can see them grow up, but also they are used to each other, so you'll probably have less aggression issues. Anyway, so you've got your couple of angelfish, you've thrown them in your tank. Of course you need to have a cycle tank, and you know, they like anything with plants and wood. They like a escape tank basically. And originally these guys come from the Amazon River in South America, also where the discus of course come from. But they can also actually live with discus pretty well. As you'll see in my discus tank inside, I've also got some angelfish in there. But anyway, back to how you want to set up your tank. So yeah, anything, also like the water requirements. Nowadays, these guys are so used to our water that it doesn't really matter. You can, any tap water is basically fine. But pH, they'd rather have a bit more softer, so a bit more acidic water. So anywhere between, well, I would say from neutral, so 7-ish, but they also like 6, 6.5. But yeah, if you've got a pH of 7, 7.5 even, my water is pretty hard. It's about 7.5, and they do fine in here. They even breed in here, as you can see. So yeah, they're really not that crazy with the requirements. Anyway guys, I forgot to mention one thing, and that's of course the water temperature. So angelfish would like anywhere between, what, between 23, 24, even up to like 27, 28. They are pretty easy with temperature. Just as if you have tropical temperatures, that's fine. As for food, well, it's basically they eat anything. They literally will eat anything. So I normally give them just some flake food, but I also give them some brine shrimp, frozen brine shrimp, some frozen blubbed worms, frozen daphnia, anything frozen they'll like. And also pellets, of course, they'll eat. They basically eat anything. Anything that you give them, they'll eat. Trust me. Oh yeah, of course, breeding. So breeding, well, it's a whole nother process, of course. I'll just switch over to my pair here with the fry, because I think that'd be pretty interesting to look at. So you basically, from those 6 to 8 that you've got, you board and you put them in your tank, they'll grow out and eventually they'll start pairing off. So you'll have like a pair form and they'll go to a separate space in the tank, and then they'll guard that area, and they may even start laying eggs there. Once you have that, you know you've got a pair, and you basically want to separate them into a breeding tank like I've done, because these were all first part of the ones with the discus tank. But I took them out, they laid eggs, and of course they hatched, and now they've got some free swimmers. But yeah, so just to go over the stages, they basically lay eggs, the eggs hatch, and then they are in the wiggler stage. So they're basically just an egg with a little tail. And then a bit later they get into the free swimming stage, and these have just basically gone into the free swimming stage, and they're actually at the surface now trying to get some air to basically adjust their swim bladder, you know, get it ready for swimming so they can swim normally without using too much energy. So that's what they at now. But then they'll start growing. You feed them some baby brine shrimp, live baby brine shrimp, and they'll start growing and growing until they are like this size where you can sell them actually, and eventually they'll become this size, and then eventually they'll become adults of themselves, of course. So breeding is really not that difficult, but I've got a full video about breeding on my channel already, so make sure to watch that if you want to learn a bit more about how to breed these guys. The further for tank mates, these guys will basically go with anybody really, as long as the other fish aren't too aggressive. So any community fish will be fine. Your tetras, your corridoras, your plecos, whatever. They'll go pretty much with everything. Just try to avoid, I would say, cichlids. You know, like African cichlids, you don't want to really mix them with them because, well, I don't think that worked too well. But of course you can mix them with discus because they basically come from the same place. And basically you compare them with anything that A, is not too small that fits in their mouth, because anything that will fit in their mouth they will eat, trust me. And B, they just need to be able to live peacefully together, so any fish that come from the Amazon as well will be totally fine with them. So yeah, all in all I think I've covered everything, and yeah, angelfish are just a beautiful fish. I really love them, and you know, I've been breeding them and keeping them for years now, and I'll be keeping and breeding them for the coming future. I don't know how long. Yeah, I love them. So guys, definitely get some angelfish if you've got the right tank. You know, you need enough space for the tank, of course. You don't want to keep them too small because the angelfish will just stunt in growth and they won't look that nice and they won't be that happy and stuff. But yeah, you just want some good quality fish in a nice big tank, and yeah, they're just beautiful to watch at night. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.